Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Well, let's see how these spin doctors from the mainstream will spin these stories about these marches in protest for supplying arms to Ukraine occurred in Italy, Germany, and France today and yesterday. Massive rallies against supplying Ukraine with weapons and continuing the war. So asking for peace. All this at Moscow's order, I wonder. So I have 4 articles, 3 that have to do with protests that occurred in Europe today. And as I said, in Italy, France, and Germany at Ramstein in front of the US military base in Germany. They protect the Germans from you, okay, or tomorrow you. And then I will use another article that I covered yesterday regarding those about 50,000 people protesting and us in Berlin asking for peace and stop arming Ukraine. Now, let's see. Let's start. Obviously, all these media or these articles are from 3, I think, are from Russians and 1 is from Reuters. The Reuters is from yesterday. So let's go with this one, with the first one. Sputnik. Sputnik today, the 26th of February 2023. All right, so thousands march in Paris in protest against sending arms to Ukraine. Thousands of people unhappy about French arms deliveries to Ukraine marched through Paris on Sunday, today, in what is the second pacifist rally held in the French capital in 2 weeks. Protesters also took place in dozens of other places across France. Its organizers from the Patriots Party said. Demonstrators carried national flags and banners that read, and I'm quoting, "For peace, no to a third world war, and let's quit NATO." So these are in Paris and in France. Let's move to the second one. Italia, Italy, right? Russia Today, February 26, 2023. Thousands rally for peace in Italy. Demonstrators in the city of Genoa and Milano, are demanding an end to weapon supplies to Kiev. I can push that, but hey, you can find it Russia Today if you have access to these evil outlets. Several thousand people turned up for peace demonstration in the Italian cities of Genoa and Milan on Saturday. Union members and left-wing activists claimed, among other things, that authorities in Rome have breached national law by sending weapons to Ukraine. The rally in Genoa drew nearly 4,000 participants from across the country, as well as from Switzerland and France, local media reported. Organized by the collective Autonomous Port Workers, CALP group, with the support of the Italian Communist Party. Oh la la! So they fight for peace. Fantastic, good to know, excellent. The protest took place under the slogan "Lower weapons, rise wages." Yeah, and then CALP's director Rodino was cited in the media saying that the, and I'm quoting, "conflict in Ukraine did not begin last year," end quote, but rather, end quote, in 2014 with a massacre of the Russian-speaking population in Donbass, end quote. Oh my, that's no good. No NATO, no guerre. No NATO, no war, right? The demonstrators filed through the port of Genoa demanding an end to the use of the facility for arms shipments destined for Ukraine. Well, it says here, a CALP spokesperson, José Nivoy, accused the Italian government of violating Law 185 of 1990, what the hell, which, and I'm quoting, imposed a ban on the import, export, and transit of weapons from Italy to states at war. Well, then you say, well, it's a technicality, they are not at war, now they're at a special military operation. The group's representatives also described how they had been networking with like-minded, and I'm quoting, associations and activists in various European cities. A protest was also held Saturday in Milan. Raptly Video news agency filmed several hundred people chanting slogans and waving flags, including those of Russia and the Donetsk People's Republic. Here it is. You can access that. I will not, because I don't know if these guys are going to do something about it. They shouldn't, but hey, you never know. The demonstrations in Italy coincided with one of the German capital, Berlin, where tens of thousands of people heeded the call of prominent left party politician Sarah Wagenknecht and author Alice Schwarzer, named for Uprising for Peace. The protest called for peace talks to end hostilities in Ukraine. The participants also urged the German government to stop shipping weapons to Kiev. Addressing her supporters, Wagenknecht criticized Chancellor Olaf Scholz's government for allegedly trying to ruin Russia and described Saturday's protest as the start of a new peace movement in Germany. Now they're talking about this protest here, reported by MSN. Reuters covered it first. Protest in Berlin over arming Ukraine against Russia draws thousands. Now this is from Reuters from yesterday. Now these guys, I covered this one, they say attracted 10,000 people. If you read the same thing, not the same thing, Sputnik reporting, they said more than 50,000. So obviously, you know, these guys minimize it, the other guys overemphasize it. The truth is somewhere in the middle, right? And these are the people in the cold outside, snowy, right here. Stop war. All right, well, this is it. Protest in Berlin. So this is with this, and we got another protest here in Ramstein military installation in Germany. You know, United States of America defends Germany by having about 70,000 troops on its territory. And I think it still has nuclear weapons stationed, deployed in Germany, because Germany needs help, because they are weasels and have no balls. Anyway, but hey, Germany is a free and it's a, you know, autonomous country. Protesters gathered outside major American airbase in European Union. Germany is a sovereign country as well, yes. Demonstrators descended on the Ramstein military installation in Germany, calling for an end to arms deliveries to Ukraine. So several hundred people gathered on Sunday outside the Ramstein US base in southwestern Germany to demand an end to weapons shipment to Ukraine. Well, the demonstrators also called for cessation of hostilities and peace talks between Ukraine and Russia. Wrong, between the United States and Russia, but hey, you can call it that way, it works with me. The placards called for the Americans to, and I'm quoting, go home, and also featured slogans including freedom for Julian Assange and stop the weapons deliveries. Well, this is it, my friends. Now they give you here, earlier this month, in Munich. They took Munich was a similar rally. It seems like the peace movement starts rolling because of the weather. Could be one reason, and because it seems like the standard of living in those countries is decreasing, and one of the reasons is the inflation, and inflation is also due to these sanctions that they imposed on Russia, and obviously they have to pay more for less with energy, and energy prices increase the cost of products, of transportation, including the energy that we use, electricity, heating, and all that. So I actually predicted that these things would occur in November last year, but what I think, well, it didn't happen. So my bad. But I thought that by that time, Germany, because I was betting on Germany, will not have its energy reserves filled. But they did. They had it. So they filled their energy reserves. So that's why they were able to provide the population with this and that. And also got some, I think about 200 million euros, billion euros, so about 200 billion euros from whomever, to subsidize the price of energy. So instead of being from here to here, the citizen paid like this, or not a citizen, the German, not even that, paid this much, and the difference, the government borrowed from banks for these guys that later they will pay the difference, you know what I mean, with interest, them and their children and grandchildren. That's how the little scheme works here. So yeah, I'm glad these guys are having the courage, and they they let their view heard and shown and seen. I like that, and why not? If I would be very concerned if people would be too comfortable not doing that, maybe too fat to get out in the cold, you know what I mean? But hey, if you're fat, that means you have food. Garbage, but hey, you got food and a lot of activity. Click, click. Bring me a new beer. Or bring me a new beer. However you want it. Something like that. But there are people over there who are not having this kind of lifestyle. They have a different one, and it seems like they have they're opinionated. Good for them. As long as it's not violent, I'm good with that. When it turns violent, I'm okay for the whomever to make sure that it doesn't turn violent. The problem is, let's say we have a demonstration, and it's peaceful, but you have certain kind of cells inside you, and they start destroying things, and you can stop them. Then the police intervenes and stops the whole thing. I mean, that's basic way of dispersing and controlling population and masses. It's done. I read about it. Okay, I read about it. It must be true, and I didn't read it in New York Times or CNN, if you know what I mean. That's a basic way of disrupting and destroying a assembly. You just go inside with a few guys, you start breaking, the people don't know what to do. It's also the mass pressure, the psychology of masses. Again, read those kind of things, where people tend to, the intelligence of the masses drops to about the 13-year-old when you are in a mass, because it's a peer pressure. So if someone smashing something and you're more inclined to follow that stupid behavior instead of following a good behavior, which is the same thing in a classroom. If you bring in a 30 students classroom, you bring 3 bad students, and yes, they're bad students, then instead of those 3 becoming good, you're going to have from the other ones the 27th turning bad. So that's how it is. Not me, psychology. Read books. And I'm glad you did, because otherwise you wouldn't be here with me. So the same thing with these guys. They could make it violent in a second. And you don't know that those guys over there who started the whole thing are agents. Agents of different kind of, how do you call them, agencies and departments, and however you want to call them. That's ABC 1, 2, 3. Is not, I'm not going to give you, hey, it's just between you and I. Zip it. No, okay? So, I'm glad these guys are speaking up. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just. And I guarantee it's going to be more and bigger.